Okay, good morning. Our country is Thailand, and our group is conformed by Andres, Jesus, Vanessa, Stephanie Blanco, and me, Isabel Herrera.
Okay, we're going to talk about some general aspects in the Thailand culture and how to do business in Thailand. I'm going to start with the population in Thailand. In 2000, the census estimated that there was 60,606,947 people in Thailand. To 2010, the estimate was approximately 3,200,000 people more. The main cities in Thailand, very difficult to pronounce, Chiang Mai, Ubon Ratchathani, Khon Kaen, Nakhon Ratchasima, and Bangkok. Bangkok is the capital of Thailand, and it had the majority of the population with 5,700,000 people. The rest then it's Khon Kaen that have 2,500,000, and the rest oscillates like from 1,700,000 and 1,500,000. In the world, Thailand is located in Asia. It is surrounded by Laos, Cambodia, Burma, and the south part is Malaysia. Thailand, the predominant ethnic group is Thailands. The other ones divide in some subcultures that are known as hill tribes. This is people that come from China and Tibet, and they differ each one from the other in cultures and also in language. I don't know how to pronounce them. There they are. The economy in Thailand. Thailand has a newly industrialized economy, and they are very dependent in the export. This represents like the 2/3 of the GDP. In 2010, the GDP had a growth of 8%, and their most strong industry is the automobile industry that grew up of 63%. The rest is tourism that represents like the 4% of the GDP. Then the electronics and the mechanical that represents like 2% and also 4%. Thailand is the second most growing economy in Asia, and is placed number 24 in the world as one of the largest economies. The rate of unemployment is one of the lowest in the world. It is like 1.2%.
Okay, so something interesting that we have to know about the culture is that in Thailand there is a very strong influence by Indian, by Chinese, by Cambodian and Burmese culture. Okay, the food. That cuisine is famous that blending of fundamental taste. The sweet, that contains sugar, fruit, spicy hot, that contains chilies, sour, lime juice, tamarind, and salty fish sauce, soy sauce. Also, we have to know that a very common food in Thailand is the rice. As we can see in Colombia, we can see a lot of variety of rice in Thailand that have a specific name named Homali rice. Okay, the religion. The most important, the biggest or the largest religion in Thailand is the Buddhism. It's named Theravada Buddhism, and it represents the 95% of the population. There also are a minorities of religion in Thailand, like Muslims, that it represent the 4.6%, and the Christian, that is the 0.7% of the population. Okay, we have to know that the biggest religion is very, very supported by the government of that.
The architecture in Thailand is like a very cultural aspect. It represents the difficult environment that involves living in Thailand, and also their religion, that is like the most important thing for them. They try to represent them in the architecture. This is the three types of building they have. These two are based on the extreme weathers in Thailand, and this one, like I said, is like the most cultural part of their architecture. The music in Thailand. The music in Thailand is based on their location in between China and India. They collect like parts of each of the countries. The two most popular styles or traditional music are Luk Thug and Morlam.
Okay, the art. The art, we have to learn that in the art have a very strong relation with the religion. When the literature in Thailand is heavily influenced by Indian culture, and the visual art was traditionally primarily Buddhist. And there is no tradition of spoken drama in Thailand. That means that they are very expressive. They don't use some, they don't have in the theater, they don't performance like with sound or speaking. They only have a bare expression to communicate what they want to say.
As she already said, Thailand is like a very religious culture, so their belief is almost all Thailand's believes in Buddha. The rest of them is divided in some other religions. The second most important is Muslim. The beliefs in Buddhism represent for the Thailands. It has like they involve with the religion and their belief in the art, literature, all of this, and represent with Buddha.
Good morning. I'm going to talk about nonverbal communication in Thailand. Greetings. The standard greetings in Thailand is the way. The way consists of a prayer-like gesture with the hand received together. Both arms are raised and the palms joined with the fingers pointing upward. In addition to a greeting, the way is also a sign of respect. The degree of such is shown by the height that which one's hands are held, and how the head is going to meet the thumbs of both hands. The greeting is given by the younger people and may be returned by their elders. If there is some difference in social status, the greetings, that is the way, may not be returned. Touching. Both heads and feet are very, we must know how to thread this in Thailand, because it's never appropriate to touch someone on the head and pass even over the head. The head is considered sacred since it's a source of intelligence and a spiritual sense. In contrast, the feet is considered the lowest point of the body, both spiritual and physical. Um, we have to be careful to avoid stepping the person's legs. And also, if one accidentally touch someone with our legs, an apology is advised. Entering to a Thai house or some places of business, one have to remove their shoes. Public contact. Thai cultures tend to be very conservative, and display of public contact is a taboo. And this is changed with the new generation in Thailand. For Thai culture, touching is a sign and means respect and also acceptance and trust. So, but it never should be initiated by foreigners. Eye contact. Staring is an advice in Thailand. We have to look a brief look to another person, because if we look at person for a long time, it can be construed as an act of violence.
Okay. I'm going to talk about so many subcultures. One subculture actually that is in Thailand. There is created because in the few years ago they having very changes in the economy, as my brother said before. These are one of the most important urban subcultures that we can find in Thailand. Specifically, these are youth subcultures that are made in there. There are b-boy, deckboard, skateboarders, deck Vespa, deck bike, deck pool, violent teenage gangs. Okay, the deckboard skate. They are skateboarders. They specifically concentrate on our focus in a part that is made by Red Bull. Red Bull, the big brand of energy drinks, and they they skate all day. They have six day open by part, and also they have they go every time after classes, after school. Well, their clothes is very important because they have a very interesting way to wear. And they use a lot of loose fitting t-shirts and loose jeans or cargo pants. And they use also oversized sneakers, and they use a baseball caps. Well, the Dempo is another subculture that have a very differentiation from the other, but what we can see is they have a particular way to use the clothes. Okay, first of all, they use a tight little black pants, a long sleeve top, tailor shirts, leather or denim jackets, and you can see at the picture, a black leather combat boots, like military boots, and studded wristbands, brightly colored Mohican hairstyles, very interesting, and body piercings.
Okay, doing business in Thailand is very similar to doing business in Colombia. The traditions are similar. The working practices in Thailand include the normal office hours that start at 9 a.m. and finish on 5 p.m. or at 6 p.m. or it can start at 8 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. And these are like the same hours in Colombia. It is acceptable to be late for meetings because of the traffic jams that are frequently in Bangkok. But if you call to say that you are going to be late, it is appreciated for the counterpart of the business. And you should avoid to do business trips in April and early May because this is like the main holiday period. So the person of the staff are not going to be in the city because they are going on vacation. And the principal language that is used in businesses is the English, and all the proposals, the contracts, and all of that it should be in English in order to let the negotiation process. And the structure and hierarchy in Thai companies, it is very similar like in Colombia because the companies are like vertical and like it is the hierarchy and the respect for seniors are very important. And the elder staff or the elder people of the company, the decision that they take should be respected for all the other employees of the company. And the women were underrepresented in the past and were traditionally underrepresented. By now, they are taking like an important place in the society, and they are like occupying managerial positions in the nowadays. And the working relationships in Thailand, they try to make like closer relationship with the business counterpart, and because they want to know each other and make like long-term relationships. And it is also like in this way in Colombia. The invitations to social activities should be accepted in order to this process of know each other for the business. And informal conversations should be, they are going to ask you some personal questions about your age, or your studies background, about your marital status, and all of that in order to like break the ice and like know your social status in the hierarchy of your country. Okay, the business practices for doing business in Thailand, they are generally not confident decision makers. It means that they have to ask several people in order to take the decision, but you should avoid impatience because it should be seen as a sign of weakness. In Colombia, it is also a lengthy process because they take a lot of time to make decisions. The common greeting is the way, and in Colombia is the handshakes. And the first names are generally used, presented by the honorific title con for men and for women. But in Colombia, the last names are more generally used. And it is important to give business cards to the counterparts to the hosts in order to make like important relation with all the staff. Okay, talking of the business etiquette, you do wear business suits for meetings. The mess should use like long sleeve shirt and tie, and the woman should cover the shoulders and the legs. Do give general praise to your Thai colleague, but you should take like you should take care about that, because if you are like so specific, they should be like obligated to give you the item in question. And do take off your shoes when you are invited to your Thai business colleague's home. And what you don't do is don't play any music at the beginning and end of the day. It is because of the traffic, because they are not be on time, so it is better to avoid these hours to plan meetings. Don't joke about or criticize the Thai king or queen, because it is like illegal in this country to criticize the royalty. And don't touch your Thai colleague's head, because it is like nothing in the nonverbal communication, as Vanessa explained before.
Thanks.